So this week what we're going to do is the IK rigging of our character. So currently it's all bound to the thing and we did some crappy weight paints. But what I need to also do is just get this animatable. Because right now, you can move the whole character, but it's very difficult. So what we're going to do is create some IK rig. So we're going to create a reverse foot rig is what we'll do in this video. And then we'll do the spline IK, and then next week we'll do the rest of it. Okay, so to create the reverse foot rig, what we're going to have to do, make sure you go to here and turn on your joints and Geo. We made those groups last time. I also have the outliner here, so Windows, outliner, it'll pop up. I just snapped it to this side here just to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so what we need to do basically is reverse the, make a joint chain that goes the other direction, okay? So I will show you how to go about doing that. So I'll leave it on just like it is. And we're just gonna go make sure you're in rigging. We're gonna go skeleton, create joints. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna snap one right to the heel here. So we'll say right here. I'm just gonna hold V, like very, very venereal. And hold V and click, and that'll be my first reverse foot joint. Okay. The next one I want, I'm actually just going to snap right here. So I'm going to hold V, and I'm actually going to turn off the geometry. I'm going to hold V, and I'm going to click here. Okay, so it's going to go from there to here. The next one I want is actually going to be to this toe joint, and then we're going to go V to point snap still, and then the last one's going to be to this guy up here. I'm going to hold V and click on it, and then we'll hit enter. Okay, so we have one set. One of the problems is that this is actually a little bit high. I actually want it more at, see how it's a little bit up because of where I snapped it. So I need to move it down. If I try to move it down, it's going to move all the joints. So I want to do is just going to hold D, which will move pivot, and I'm just going to move it down. And it actually doesn't, so it's kind of on the ground like that. And that looks fine, okay? So I'm just going to move it down. And if you need to move any of the other ones, you can, but they should be snapped right to the joints like that. I'm just going to go ahead and change the name of these. So I'm going to go modify, search and replace names, and we'll search for joint, and we'll just call this reverse foot underscore L underscore JNT, and hit replace. I'm going to do this twice, but a neat little trick you can do to make this a little bit easier is make sure you have the grid on. It's just, where's the waffle? Turn this waffle on, and you'll have the grid. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the joint tool again. I can just hit Y because it's the last thing it did. And I'm going to hold X for grid snap. And that's going to snap it right there. And I want to put it right on origin. See how it's right in the center? All right, then I'll hit enter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to shift select. So I click on that, hold shift, click on here and hit P like parent. And now it's parented to that, which seems worthless. But watch what that lets me do. I can now grab this joint and go to skeleton, mirror joints, hit the option box. And I want to do YZ and behavior, and we're going to search for underscore L and replace with underscore R, just like this. You can pause it and look at it. And then I'm going to hit mirror. Make sure you have this joint selected, okay? So now you're going to see it mirrored it. Obviously, I don't want them nailed together like this. What is the Oedipus? I don't know if you remember that story. It's very bad. Anyway, I'm going to take this one, and to unparent, you select that joint, and I'm going to hit Shift P. Okay, so I select the reverse foot joint, select this one, Shift P. And then I only created that just to flip it, so I wouldn't have to do it twice. So there you go. Yay! So that looks pretty good. To make things a little bit easier, let's just go ahead and put these on a layer. So I'm going to select this one. I'm going to hold Shift, select this one. And then let's make a new layer. And we'll just double click on it. So you hit the ball and paper here. And we'll just call this working layer. That way we'll just put things that we're working on in there. And then as we need to, we can remove those items. Yay! Okay, so that'll make things a touch bit easier for us. So next we have that aspect. Yeah, we're going to call that good. Okay, so now what I want to do is this. I'm going to take off the working. I don't want to see those anymore. We're going to put our IK in. So you're going to go to skeleton. You're going to go to create IK handle. Hit the option box. You're going to see up here. Let me just reset tool. You can go ahead. Sticky. Go ahead and turn on sticky just for fun. Make sure it's rotate plane solver and not single chain solver. Rotate plane solver. And I want you to click on the hip to the ankle like that. And then I'm going to hit Y like yes. I want to reuse the same tool. So Y. And remember, I'm going to click here and click on the ankle. Okay. And you probably can't see it. If I hit 4 and go into wireframe, you're going to see it makes a brown little line there. And what this is it's an IK handle, okay? So what that'll allow us to do is, I'll hit 5 so you can see, is that it's going to make it so that the legs stick. And if you grab that handle, you can move the leg now, and the rest of the leg follows, which is a little bit more like how a leg moves, okay? So I'm going to bring that tool back up again. So again, skeleton, create handle tool, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to switch it to single chain solver. And I'm just going to go from here, the ankle, to the ball of the foot. Then I'll hit Y to bring the tool up again. Ball of the foot to toe. Y to bring the tool up again. Ankle, ball of the foot, then Y, and ball of the foot to toe. And then just hit enter. Actually, it doesn't really matter. It'll be on there, okay? Okie dokie. So now we have quite a few of the parts that we needed. Let's just try to hook this up. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to need is some controllers and such. Okay, so you don't want to have to grab all these handles to move it around. It's just it's a difficult way of working. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some controllers that'll make it a little bit easier. I'm going to go to my channel box here, and where I have the Geo, I'm just going to go ahead and click this. Not that one, sorry, this one, until it's, not this one, until it's a T. And that'll just make it so he's there, but I don't really, he's wireframe, but unselectable. It just makes it easier to work with. Okay, I want to make some foot controllers. So what we're going to use are what's called NURBS surfaces. We're going to make NURBS circles specifically. So go to create, polygon, create NURBS primitives, and just do circle. It's going to make a circle. I just want you to pull over to one of the feet. I'm just going to scale her up like so. Scale it in, and let's just rotate it like that. And let's move it forward a little bit. Okay, something like that. This isn't really great, but it just needs to be big enough that we can select it. Okay, so let's move it up a little bit because he's kind of not quite on the foot. So we'll say something like that. Okay, let's go ahead and rename that, and we'll just call this the left. What are we calling everything else? Okay, we'll just call it leg underscore L underscore L underscore controller underscore CRV. Okay, that looks fine. All right, now we need to take it, and we want the pivot to actually be at the heel here. So I'm going to turn on the working thing so I can see the heel. So with this selected, I'm going to hold D for move pivot and V for point snap, and I'm just going to point snap it. Hopefully, it's not really point snapping. D and V, there it goes, and point snap it to the heel. All right, that looks great. All right, now what we'll do is just modify freeze transformations, which is going to zero it out like this. And I'm not really a huge fan of that, so you can see it's kind of not oriented in the same direction as the joints here. So what we're going to do is I want you to have nothing selected, hit Control G, that'll make an empty group. Do the same thing, I want you to put it right here on that heel joint. D and V on my main reverse foot joint, okay? Now what we're going to do with this guy is we are going to rotate him in the direction of the foot, okay? So that, see how it's going this direction now with the foot? Okay? Now with that, let me go a little bit more. All right, that looks acceptable. With that, what we're going to do is I'm going to select this controller. I'm going to press Control because we're in a list here. To this, the null group. It's just an empty group, has nothing in it, and then we'll hit P, okay? Now, when I select this, you see the orientation is not the way I want. I want it like its parent. Now, when I do modify freeze transformations, it will zero out and assume its parent's transformations. So you can see it's actually just the way I wanted it, okay? So I'll just do edit, delete by type, not all by type, delete by type, history, and that'll just clear it out. Great. Okay, I need to make one for the other side, so just to make this a little bit easier, let's have it selected. I'm going to grab the null that it is. So if I select this and hit the up arrow, I'll get its parent, which is the null group. So that should make it a little bit easier. So with that, I'm going to hit Control G. When you make a group, come on, Control G, it's going to put it right on the center. See that? Now what I'm going to do is hit Control D. So I'll duplicate that group. I'm going to take the scale, make it -1 on X, and it will flip it to the other side. Sweet. I'm going to go over here to the outliner. I'm going to grab the null that's there. I'm going to hit Shift P to unparent it. Now it's not parented to that group. Go ahead and delete that. We don't need that. All right. So we're going to go here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now, the other one's in a group that I'm not really super excited about. So I'm going to grab this one's null. And I'm just going to hit Shift P to bring it out of that group and delete it. I only did that just so that I can flip the business there. All right, so that looks acceptable. All right, so there's some foot controllers. That's okay. So we also are going to need something to control my knee rotation. So what we call pole vectors. Right now, if you were to grab the leg and pull it up, theoretically, here we go. You're going to notice that it's just the knee is going to go wherever it goes. Like we don't have any control over that. We want to be able to tell it which direction to go. So that's what we're going to do next. So we're going to create a pole vector. And we can really create anything to do these. They could be the NURBS curves. They could be something else. Let's just go ahead and we'll create what we call a locator. Okay, a locator is literally the same thing as a null group, except that it has this little nuck there. See the little nuck? That's a nice nuck. Let's go ahead and do the local scale here, and let's do 2, just to make it a little bit bigger so I can see it. Let's make it a little bit bigger than that. Let's try 4. There we go. All right, so I'll take that, and what I want you to do is I'm going to snap it to the knee joint. I'm going to turn off the geo so I only have the knee joint to make it easier to snap to. I'm going to hold V for point snap, and I'm going to snap it up there. Let's go ahead and rename this, and we'll just call this leg _L _ pole vector _LOC for locator. Great. Take that, move that guy forward, roughly about, I don't know, a little bit in front of the foot here. So 1.5 feet. Okay, that looks fine. And do modify freeze transformations. Okay, let's go ahead and duplicate that. Control D to duplicate. I'm going to hold V for point snap. I'm going to point snap it to this leg, and I'm going to move it forward. And I'm going to hold V and point snap, but I'm only grabbing the one axis so that it's point snapping to this thing's distance in this direction. Okay, that way they're the same. And we'll just go ahead and rename this. Take the 1 off, and we'll rename it with an R. Enter. Make sure you hit enter whenever you type something because it gets kind of weird. And then again, do modify freeze transformations. And this will be our pole vectors. Okay. So what you want to do now is select the pole vector first. Okay. Then hold shift and select the IK handle. It's like a little brown line there. Then you're going to go to constrain and pole vector. Do the same thing on the other side. You'll see a little line will pop out. This guy, then the little line, it's very hard to get to there. And then this time I can just hit G because that will repeat the last action I did. But instead, we're going to go and just go to constrain and pole vector just so you see it twice. Okay, but you could also just hit G. Now you're going to notice that when I rotate this back and forth, you can see the knee basically is in love with this pole vector and it's going to look at it. Okay, and that's how we're going to control more or less that rotation. Okay, so we have that. That looks pretty good. However, our leg is still not moving. I want to be able to use these controllers in order to move it up and down. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this work. So remember we made this reverse foot joints section? That's actually going to be what controls this. So I'll show you how this works. So what I want to do is parent each of these corresponding IK handles to the corresponding reverse foot joint. So this might actually be easier to turn joints off. So the joints layer we made, that's our whole rig. I'm gonna turn that off, and all that's left now is our working layer, and then also the IK handles because they weren't part of that. So that's actually gonna make this a little bit easier. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna select the IK handle. I'm gonna hit Q for just regular select tool. There's Q, W, E, and R. Q is just regular select. So that way there's no manipulator in the way. It's just a little bit easier to select things. So I'm gonna select this. Then I'm going to shift click on this joint and hit P. All right. So where this joint goes, that will now go. Okay. And we're just going to go right down the line. So you're going to select this, shift select this joint, P. Select this, shift select this joint, and P. Okay. I'm going to go over here and just do the same thing. Oh, okay. Let's do it this way. F to frame. Okay. So select the IK. Shift select the joint, P. Select IK. Shift select the joint, P. Select the IK. Shift select the joint, P. All right. And the reason why we did it this way, just so you can see, I'm going to go ahead and we'll put Geo back on because I don't really care about seeing the joints. Is that now, actually we'll put the joints on too. Now what will happen is this. If I rotate this, you see it's moving those joints. And since the IK handles are now stuck to the joints that this thing is controlling, I can rotate it from my heel. I can also rotate it from my toe. And I can rotate it from the ball. And that's why it's called reverse foot, is it goes back up the foot, okay? And then all we need to do now is take this thing, the main reverse foot joint, shift select this, and hit P. Now, that will move the whole thing. Same thing here. Select this, shift select this, hit P. And when we move this, it will move the entire leg, which is great. However, I don't want to have to click on the joints and like go like this to rotate them. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some attributes that are just going to control the aspects of these. Okay, so it should be pretty straightforward. Select this, hold shift, select this. So you have both of the curves selected, the controller curves, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to modify and you want add attribute. Where are you? Add attribute. All right. And what we're going to do is add a controller for each one of these things. So we'll do one called toe roll. Oops, not with two L's. Toe roll. That's fine, just like that. Make sure it's float. The defaults are fine, and hit add. Okay. Then we'll do toe swivel. That's fine, and add. And then let's do the ball, and then we'll do ball roll, and then add. And we don't need ball swivel. That should be good. Okay. And all we're going to do is we made these numbers, right? Just like the rest of these are things, except these don't do anything. They're not hooked up to anything yet. That's what we're going to do now. So we just made basically a variable that can hold a number, but we want to use that number to drive these things. So it's actually going to be pretty easy. What I want you to do is have nothing selected, go to Windows, General Editors, Connection Editor. Boop. Okay, we're going to start with the one leg. Select this controller curve, and I'm going to hit reload left. Okay, scroll all the way to the bottom. The ones you create will always show up on the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, and it's the easiest way to do is to click on this and hit the down arrow. Now I have that toe joint, the reverse foot joint, that's the toe. I'm going to reload right. What this does, the connection editor, is it'll say, take whatever this value is in this guy, and put it into whatever you put the value in this guy. Okay, that's the whole lump sum of it. It just literally goes 1 to 1. Whatever value, if I put 45 into this, if I attach it to some node, some attribute in here, it's going to put 45 into that. That's literally what it does. Okay, so I'm going to, with this toe selected, I'm going to hit E, and you can see, you probably can't, let me click on this. Okay, see how this is blue? Blue is the Z-axis. So if you don't know what the colors are, red is X and green is Y. If you don't know what they are, if you look on the bottom, you'll see they actually tell you right here. So blue is Z. So for roll, which would be this, right? That's my roll. I need to control my blue axis, my blue rotate. So I'm going to go to toe roll, select toe roll. Then you got to scroll down. You're going to look for rotate. You got to expand it because we only want rotate Z. Okay. Then, if we look, you see it's the green one for toe swivel. Okay? So for toe swivel, I'm going to click on toe swivel, and that is rotate Y. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we need to do the next joint, which is this ball one. So again, I'm just going to click here, hit the down arrow, until I get to the ball joint, and reload right. So now we're going to control this joint, but I want that to be the ball roll. So I'm going to select ball roll, right? That's this ball roll attribute. I'm going to go to the rotate, and again, you need to make sure which one it is. Yours could be different. Mine's going to be this blue one again, so it's rotate Z. So I'll select rotate Z. Now, what you'll notice is, whenever I change one of these, if I click in here, see the little double arrows, and drag, it's going to basically put that value into it. So if I go to toe swivel, you can see, and when I go to ball roll, you'll see. Okay? That's what it's doing. Now we need to do the same thing over here. Select this controller curve, reload left. That's going to be called reload left. Okay, so we have that one in there. If you're not sure if you have the right one, you can look on the top. And apparently I didn't rename this. Let's go ahead and rename this. This should have an R in it, so my bad. Oh good, it changed the name. I wasn't sure if I had to re-update it. Okay, so we want to do that, and then the next thing I want to do is select that toe joint, right? So then we're going to click this, hit the down arrow, and we'll reload right. So reload left, reload right. Okay, so now we're going to go from this one's toe, and it should be the same things as the other one, but just double check. So it is indeed going to be the blue axis, which is rotate Z. And then the toe swivel is my green one, so rotate Y. And then I have to grab now this joint. So click on this, down arrow, and now I have the third one, which is my ball. Reload right again. We're going to go from ball roll, and we're going to go here, and this is also going to be my rotate Z. Yay! Now I do want to do one other thing as well. So I know we already did this earlier, that I can use this to rotate my thing, which is cool, but it's a little bit clunky. We'll still use it, but I don't want to have to use that all the time. It's actually not my favorite way of working. So what we're going to do is we're going to make some more attributes in here and then attach them. So we're almost done. I know it's quite a bit. So I'm going to select this guy and this guy, and let's add another attribute. So edit, where are you? I'm sorry, modify, add attribute. And we'll call this one knee twist, like that. And then hit OK. All right, now we'll just go ahead and connect this up. So select this one. Let's go to Windows, General Editors. Where are you? Connection Editor. All right, scroll all the way down. You'll see your knee twist. This time we're going to hook this up to, I'm going to hit Q so I get the select tool, the IK handle. You'll see it has these extra attributes on here, and one of them is twist. So when I grab twist and click and drag, you can see it just twists the knee. It rotates the leg. That's what I'm going to control. So with the IK handle selected, I'm going to hit reload right. I'm going to scroll, and we're going to look, there's twist. I'm going to take knee twist and connect it to twist, like so. And we'll do the same thing here. Select this one, reload left. So now we have the right one selected. Then I got to grab the IK handle, reload right, and we're going to go from knee twist to twist. Okay, and it just gives us an extra bit of control. We can use either the IK handle or that. All right, let's do, now what I also want to have happen is this can happen sometimes. It's called flipping, called knee flipping. Notice it goes like this, the leg. And the reason why it's doing that is because, I can close out of this, is because the knee is always trying to point towards this thing. So as soon as the leg goes past it, it points at it. So all we're going to do to solve this, it's actually pretty easy. We're going to grab this pull vector, shift select the controller here, and hit P. So now when I move this, it'll move that, and then we don't accidentally, move with it. It's not going to be the greatest thing, but it should roughly work. Okay, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Select the pull vector, shift select the foot controller, and hit P for parent. All right, and now when I move this up, you can see, voila, and we have a full range. So if he goes back like this, and I can go ahead and we can go like this, and then on the attribute, I could be like, oh, I want to do a ball roll. So he's on his tippy toes, right? Or I want him on his ippy dippy tippy toes. I could do like this. Oops, that's way too much. We can also zero those out. 0, 0, and let's say let's zero this out. Let's say he's just smoking and you just want to put the thing out. You can pivot from both here, or I can just naturally go from here. So basically we can pivot from both the front of the foot and the back of the foot, just like you normally could, and we can rotate from the ball of the foot, and we get all the niceties of being able to, do this sort of thing. And you can see his feet now are sticky. So you can see how this will be a lot easier to actually like walk and stuff. Let me make this so you can see it. To walk and stuff, right? All right, so the next thing to do here is actually just save this, Control-Shift-S. I'm gonna say this is the next version. So we'll just do WoobyRig underscore V0, V02. All right. And now we have a reverse foot rig that I try to do as quickly as possible. Sorry if I speak too fast, just, pause and do what you want to do. I just try to make the videos as short as possible. And the next one we're going to do is just this IK spine, and that should be it for now. And then we'll do the FK stuff later.